Olympus looked golden from a distance, but up close it was dripping with shadows. The gods were worshipped as rulers of the world, yet behind their crowns and thunderbolts lay secrets that terrified even their followers. These weren't gods of mercy, they were gods of hunger, pride, and vengeance. Their stories weren't just myths, they were warnings carved into the bones of history. Cronus sat on the throne before Zeus, a king haunted by a prophecy that one of his children would rise against him. His solution was monstrous. The moment each child was born, he swallowed them whole. Imagine the silence of his palace. The cries of newborns vanished into the black pit of their father's stomach. Inside him, 5 divine children lived in darkness, frozen in time, waiting. Only Zeus escaped, hidden in secret. And when he returned, it was not with forgiveness, but with fury. Cronus was forced to vomit his children back into the world, fully grown, raging, and ready for war. That is how the Olympians were born. Out of fear, out of betrayal, out of a father's nightmare. But the new king of gods was not a savior. Zeus ruled with thunder, but his true storm was deception. He cloaked himself in disguises, swan, bull, stranger, approaching mortals in shapes that robbed them of choice. From those encounters came children who lived cursed lives, torn between divine power and human weakness. Hercules, the strongest of them all, carried a burden heavier than his strength. Hera's jealousy poisoned his mind with madness, and in his frenzy he slaughtered his wife and children. His legend of 12 labors was not glory. It was penance, punishment, carved into the body of a man who never asked for his father's sins. And Hercules was not the only shadow. Others bore fates far darker. Some abandoned, some hunted. Some doomed before they took their first breath. The gods gave life with one hand and destroyed it with the other. In the underworld, another secret stirred. Hades, cold as stone, wanted what he could not have. Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, was seized in a flash of darkness, dragged beneath the earth to be his queen. Her cries rose no higher than the soil. Demeter searched the earth in despair, and as her grief spread, the land itself withered. Crops crumbled into dust, rivers dried into cracks, and winter fell for the first time. Only a fragile compromise saved the world. Persephone would rise each spring but return each winter. Every dying leaf, every frozen field, every snow-covered grave is a reminder of that abduction. Fire itself carries another secret. Prometheus, a titan, looked at mankind shivering in the dark and dared to defy Zeus. He stole fire and placed it in mortal hands. The spark of warmth, of light, of invention. But gifts from gods were never free. Prometheus was bound to a rock, and each day an eagle ripped open his chest to devour his liver. At night it grew back, only to be torn again at dawn. Screams became the rhythm of eternity. The Greeks believed every spark, every flame in the human world flickered with his suffering. Civilization itself was born from chains and blood, and yet there were punishments even crueler. Tantalus once dined with the gods, but arrogance devoured him. He served them a feast made from his own son. The gods cursed him to an eternity of thirst and hunger. He stood in clear water that receded whenever he bent to drink. Juicy fruit hung above, pulling back whenever he reached. To be surrounded by everything and consume nothing. That was his eternity. That is where the word tantalize was born. To be tormented with what you can never have. Even mortals touched by the gods carried tragedies. Medea sacrificed everything for Jason, helped him steal the golden fleece, betrayed her own family in the name of love. But when Jason abandoned her, her fury drowned her reason. She turned on her own children, slaughtering them with their own hands. To the Greeks, this wasn't simply madness. It was the gods twisting mortal veins with threads of rage, showing that no human life was beyond their reach. The deeper the myths run, the darker the shadows grow. Pandora, the first woman shaped by the gods, was given a box she was told never to open. Curiosity is the fire in human veins, and when she lifted the lid, every curse poured out. Plague, famine, sorrow, death. Only one thing remained at the bottom: hope. A cruel balance, as if the gods wanted to remind mortals that even their comfort came shackled to despair. And then came the war between gods and monsters. Typhon, the monstrous serpent born to challenge Olympus, rose against Zeus. His roar split mountains, his wings shadowed the sky. But Zeus struck him with thunder, chains of fire binding him beneath Mount Etna. The Greeks said every eruption, every trembling of the earth, was Typhon thrashing in his prison. Even the land itself was a reminder of punishment. The truth is, the gods were not pure. They lied, they stole, they punished, they betrayed. They were mirrors of human weakness, magnified, immortal, and untouchable. To worship them was to live in awe, but also in fear. Every feast, every prayer carried the weight of stories that warned. Power corrupts, and even gods hunger for cruelty. Olympus shines in memory, but its light casts long shadows. Children swallowed whole, lovers stolen into darkness, fire stolen at the price of eternal screams. hunger and thirst forever out of reach, rage turned against blood, hope trapped at the bottom of a box. These are the untold secrets of Greek mythology. The myths that whispered not of glory, but of fear, fragility, and fate.